Birkhead's secret garden and nursery is home to 14 individual garden rooms that are all meant to inspire growers in the northeast as they demonstrate the diversity of the plants that can be grown there. The grounds were left damaged after years of being a site for coal mining, so the owners, Christine and Mike Liddle, have spent years transforming this once derelict site into a thriving horticultural masterpiece. I visited the gardens and spoke with Christine about their rich history and some of her standout plants.
We came here in 1978. We started with the idea of self-sufficiency and keeping two toddlers amused. We started with the garden closest to the house. One of the interesting features in the garden is the fact that there's a pear tree, espalier, on the side of the house, and that was put in when the house was built instead of a damp course. They didn't exist in those days. After a while, we started to think that we needed a bit more space or a bigger garden, and we didn't want to move. So we approached our local farmer, and we managed to take on some more extra land. This is the entrance from the car park. The antirrhinums are looking particularly nice at the moment with the colour. This rose is Sweet Juliet, and I think it's the best David Austin rose that there is. It's got the most fantastic scent. This is Carex buchanii, the bronze form, and again, it's to use up water off the hillside. The garden really started off as an experimental garden to show what I could do, just to try out whether my designing ideas were any good. My idea was to have a garden that had something of interest every day of the year. The avenue was put in about 1995, and it started off mainly silver and blue and purple. When I started it, it was very wet, and it was a way of directing the water off the hillside and taking it down there. I raised the beds at the side and put lots of gravel, mixed it in with the soil, and now we're growing things that actually like dry soil and well-drained conditions. So there's lychnis, delphiniums, lavender, rosemary. There's lots of eryngiums around. The bees love those. There's none on at the minute, is there? That's actually a lovely soft one. The cones on the eryngiums turn blue after they've been pollinated. That's a herbaceous clematis with the dark leaves. It's very effective. There's also lots of rock roses around the bottom. Then we progressed onto the Woodland Garden, which has a lot of trees. We had to start this garden by putting trees and hedges right around it because we're 650 feet above sea level and it was so exposed. So we really had to do that. That's a ginkgo biloba. That's been in 25 years. It's taken so long. There's half a dozen times where I've thought about replacing it, but it's started to grow at long last. And the cedar tree's got an owl box in it. We had tawny owls nesting last year and it was fabulous. They raised 2 chicks. This is a Cornus controversa. It's known as the wedding cake tree sometimes. Grows in layers. This is the orchard, and this is the Quercus ruber. It's got such fabulous leaves. It's got big long leaves. We planted a wildflower meadow around the trees and under the trees so that there's bulbs again and perennial plants between the trees. So there's Michaelmas daisies between the trees. Around the corner there's the Bowes Garden, and the whole idea about that was because the garden was based on the Bowes Railway. It had been built for the Bowes Railway. We built it, and the main features were railway sleepers. The interesting features in there, one of them is that we found a 360 million year tree fern stump while we were digging one of the ponds. There are lots of herbs in that garden. We made it a scented garden so that you could walk around and just touch things and feel them and smell the lovely smells. We've got a slate garden which we made into a bee and butterfly garden, and all of the plants in there are scented. There's lilacs, Philadelphias, deutzias, lots of things that will attract pollinating insects. We'll walk past the Philadelphias. You can smell it when the sun comes out on it. It's really strong, but there's 4 of them around the circle. So when you get into the centre, it's very strong. The meditation garden started off with a pond, again because we get all this water running off the fell and we needed to do something with it. The main feature of the meditation garden is the aces, and there are a group of wild orchids growing at the moment right around one of the ponds. That's a trachycarpus, which there's no way that should be growing in the northeast, especially in this garden. But it's surviving, so every time I see a dead bit I just trim it off. But it's actually got flowers on it. That's the flower stems. There are quite a few bamboos in here, but I have to keep an eye on them because they spread a bit. But I love the aces. They're going to turn wonderful colours in the autumn. These are regersias and they love water. The more water they get, the better. So perfect. It's coming down off the hill there. The atmosphere of peace and quiet and tranquility is what most people remark on. The fact that it's never a busy garden and we have time to talk to people and they know that they're not being rushed around and there aren't crowds of people here at any one time.
If you enjoyed this garden tour, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Horticulture Magazine for more. To find out more about Birkhead's secret gardens, check out the link in the description. Thanks for watching.